Back in the late 80s, the Ninja Gaiden series got its start, first in the arcades, followed then by an NES port 2 months later, where it garnered more attention and critical praise. While the arcade was a lethargic beat-em-up with a ninja twist to it, the home port brought us a completely different game that had cinematic cutscenes at a time when they were outside the norm, a more fast action pacing that included slashing and platforming versus tedious punching and throwing, and introducing us to characters that would become iconic in the series. Oh. The NES got 3 titles, with part 2 being the pinnacle of that trilogy, at least for me. Then the series got ported to the Super NES and I thought, oh man, this is gonna be great, it's gonna get that same treatment that Nintendo gave to the Super Mario trilogy or that Sega had given to Shinobi on the Genesis. Yeah, it clearly did not. Tecmo pretty much half-assed it, and on top of that, never released a sequel of any type on that console, which to this day baffles me as to how they let that opportunity get away. I guess they were putting all their efforts into Secret of the Stars. While the NES ports were the most popular, the series did get entries on the Game Gear, the Game Boy, and a very, very late port on the Sega Master System. I'm gonna take a look at that one in the near future. After that, the series would switch to 3D for the next 2 decades before returning to its roots with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, a new title developed by Game Kitchen and published by .emu and Joystick. It brings back these cinematic cutscenes and fast action pacing while adding a few new moves to your repertoire, and of course, updated graphics. First off, you don't play as Ryu, but rather a student of his named Kenji. Ryu heads to America, which makes it seem like this takes place right before the arcade and the NES ports. Your village is being invaded by demons. I hate when that happens. And Ryu's father tells him to take his dragon sword to America.
Big mistake!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. So now it's just Kenji left behind to take care of business. The game first takes you through a tutorial that has become standard in today's modern era. But in this case, the tutorial is very necessary since it will teach you the timing mechanics of the game and the tons of moves and skills at your disposal. You will quickly come to realize that quick reflexes and timing are a must here. Right after the tutorial, you are thrown into the fire. You will see that you are now able to climb walls freely, hang from ceilings, and will be using this somersault technique to bounce off enemies to reach higher places. There are orbs to collect that will allow you to replenish your health, since you have a skill that depletes your health in exchange for a slight boost of power to get past certain obstacles. Later on in the demo, you come to find that you can fuse together with a spider kunoichi called Kumori. This is where I found a new layer to the gameplay on top of all the new moves. By entering altars in specific spots in the level, you can now enter the demon world and take full control of Komori. But there is a huge downside to that. Every second in the demon world depletes her health, and once gone, will cause you to revert back to Kenji. There are purple orbs that you can collect to replenish her health while in the demon world, buying you some precious seconds needed to flip a switch or get rid of an obstacle to help Kenji progress. The demon world also adds platforming challenges that are not present in the real world, which slightly alters the level during that segment. When you are playing as Kenji back in the real world, you will be able to summon Kimori to provide the ability to throw shurikens, adding a long-range attack option to the otherwise short combat range that he has. Enemies will also have this certain color aura to them, indicating which of the 2 attack types you can use to boost your power to inflict more damage to some of the more annoying enemies. I hate this enemy right here, I truly do. The controls here are precise and don't overcomplicate things. When I did die, I did so knowing full well that it had no part in its outcome, and that the fault lay with me. Only difficult part here is the timing when switching between different attacks. Another tricky part of the game are the portions where you will need to bounce off enemies in succession to reach new parts in the level. As far as the demo allowed, there are no specific power-ups like in the original titles. Maybe the full game will have these additional features. The only thing that I found in the demo were the replenishment orbs. There are only 3 levels to try out here in the demo, but it gives you the right amount of time to kind of get a feel for the gameplay mechanics and how the overall game is going to be like. What little amount of gameplay I was allowed to play out in the demo, I found this title to be on par with another retro title I played a few years back, Cyber Shadow, which is heavily retro and was extremely difficult to play, but it was very well made. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound will be out on July 31st, and after this demo, I can safely say that this is one purchase that I look forward to. And if you are a fan of the NES Ninja Gaiden games or just the ninja action titles of the late 80s and early 90s, this is one game that you need to be on the lookout for. It is fast paced and stays true to the Ninja Gaiden NES trilogy in terms of its playstyle and presentation. This game has me looking forward to another famous ninja set to make a comeback later this year.
Legend continues.
And with Ninja Gaiden 4 also set to be released later this year, this is turning out to be the year of the ninja. Now, stay tuned for my next video where I will be looking at some very underappreciated arcade games throughout the years. I'm going to be doing some deep diving into this one, so get ready to be surprised. Until then, keep watching and keep gaming.